Want more positivity in your life? Subscribe, turn on notifications, follow us, and all that techie stuff. We'd love to hear from you. Comment, share, or give us a thumbs up. We are grateful to have you hanging out with us at Matt Logan Speaks.
We have to look at the whole picture. COVID's here. It's not going away. Now, how do we deal with it? Clearly, we're not doing a very good job.
No, because if the comprehensive containment plan is to just keep shutting down, I mean,
I want to know why we can't acknowledge the virus and run a restaurant at the same time. Yeah. Why can't we acknowledge that this is, big and important and dangerous, but yet why can't we, open a restaurant and serve people safely? Why does it have to be one or the other? Why can't we
restore economic activity while being safe?
Yes. Why can't we?
Yeah, absolutely. You had mentioned, Christine, that I take a very positive approach to the way I run my page. My daughter died in a car crash, and I had a choice. I came up on that car crash, which you probably didn't know. I drove up on it while they were still trying to get her out, not knowing anything, not knowing there was a car crash. I have a very different viewpoint than most people would ever have in that case, right? I was there. I know the emotional pain of seeing that happening. I still take a positive approach. I had dozens of people sue the bus company, sue this, sue that, take phones away, do all these things, right? But it boils down to the truth of what happened is she chose to pick up her phone and compose a text message. I don't think she did it often, but I think that she took a calculated risk, as I talk about, and it was a straightaway, and I think she thought she had time to do it. It was her choice. We can't take choice away from people. And that's what we're doing, in my opinion. And I think that collision is coming, right? That collision is going to happen. And if we don't look at that whole picture, and we don't look at the suicides that are happening, we don't look at my mom's asthma and say, let's try to do the best we can to keep it away from you while you still live, while you still are able to see your grandkids and great-grandkids and all those things. We have to take that positive approach to it instead of fear and negative narratives that are happening in a lot of the places. And in 10 years from now, I'm going to say I did what I could, and I'm going to say that I didn't try to take phones away from people in their car. I tried to educate them. I'm going to say that I didn't try to say the bus company or the bus manufacturer or any of these things were at fault. I'm going to say my daughter was strong, and I'm going to say that I did what I could so that she could make the right choice, and she's the one that ended up choosing not to. And we can never take that away from anybody, ever. The collision is coming if we do. It's a way to go. You're doing what you need to. Keep doing it.
Yeah. You are definitely stronger than I think I would be.
You have a lot of faith.
You do.
Absolutely.
Yep. You have a lot of faith, and I think that, I think that is a great asset.
So that's what you are doing. You're doing what I did 8+ years ago, right now.
Not really.
You are. You're taking a stand for what a positive approach is, period. You're looking at the whole picture.
I think many people are. I just don't think we're hearing about those people. Because, a lot of people are recovering from COVID. So, we seem to hear about the cases and the deaths and the cases and the tests, but we kind of fail to see the recovery rate also.
And we're back into context, right? What's the context of it? People are recovering. Way more people are recovering, thank the good Lord Almighty, from COVID than are having serious repercussions from it. That is awesome news, right? We will totally, whatever we focus on, we will live. right? If we focus on the deaths, we're going to live terribly. If we focus on the positive things, we're going to live remarkably. And that's what we need to do. That's what you're doing. And when you would get the pushback, you know, I don't know if you saw the news, if it was yesterday. I very briefly saw it this morning. Someone locally went to Texas, and I don't know the names, and I'm not going to use the names or try to use the names because I'm not sure what they are, but people can look the story up. Local Rochester man went to Texas and got COVID, and he's in a bad way right now, 26 years old. And it's a terrible thing that happened. But what they found is he has some sort of immune disorder, and COVID brought that to light. And I'm not here to say that, you know, some other thing would have brought it to light or this would have brought it to light. What I'm saying is that we have to understand that life is always fragile. And we're going to always have the car crashes, and we're going to always have some of these other things that when we go and live life. But what we can avoid are suicides. We can avoid those, or a lot of them. And if we can open our schools back up, if we can do the things that allow these students that will become young adults, that will become members of society, that
our
will
future,
have
absolutely,
businesses, we're going to be in a lot better place. It's heavy, sorry.
It is. It is.
You have me speechless.
Yeah, I just, yeah.
But it's real. Right? This is all real. COVID's real. That's okay.
And we know so much more now about it than we did in March. I mean, that's the other thing about this shutdown is that we know so much more now about COVID than we did in March. So I think that's what makes it extra hard is that, you know, like I said before, you're taking an environment that was controlled and you are closing it down. Yeah.
And Japan, you know, in October alone had more suicides in October alone
I read
than
that.
COVID deaths because of the mental health issues. So where else do we want to go with the conversation? What else I'm going to leave the last few minutes up to you.
No, I mean, we are optimistic. I mean, we're looking to the future. We have the holidays approaching. You know, we're hoping this vaccine is on the forefront here. I think all eyes are on that. We just have to, I guess, get through these next few weeks and kind of plow ahead. I think the hardest part for me personally is that the demand is there. I think we were both frustrated and worried that when we opened, people were going to maybe not feel secure or safe to come out. And it was obvious that they were more comfortable sitting outside. But the demand is there. We did have, our business came back fairly strong. So that, I think that's hard right now. I think it's hard.
What happens when your business comes back, your employees, they can start paying rent.
I know.
Exactly.
Eating.
I know.
I didn't mean to
trickle.
take that away, but people don't look at that all the time. Again, context, the whole picture.
The trickle-down effect.
Your business succeeding means that you're going to be able to give to the local baseball, team. You're going to, or what your choice is. Your employees are going to be able to coach the football team, the little league football team. All those things.
Restaurants we are one of the backbones of a small community. Yes, absolutely. For sure. We are.
And people don't look at those things, though. They just heard what you said. It's like, oh, it's all about the money. It has nothing to do about the money. I mean, you have to be successful. That's not, but you know what I'm saying.
I do, yeah. Yeah.
So I just
but again, it's, we, I think we are close with our staff. We're close with our employees. So to see them, in this way is hard. It's hard. I mean, not only do they have a hard time making it financially, they have their sense of purpose is kind of taken away. I think their livelihood. A lot of them have had turned to alcohol to cope. So, I mean, we do see a lot. It's funny. Years ago, someone told me that, the restaurant business, you're almost like the redheaded stepchild. And it's always kind of stuck with me, and I never knew what they meant. And I do now. I do now. So, yeah.
But you do become family with your employees. I mean, you know, you hire people for a reason. And we always say this kind of when we interview people. It's like, you know, we are looking for something in you. You know, we are looking in for the best and the most positive in you, because you are going to represent us.
Yeah.
I mean, you are going to be the face of us. And when we bring you on, I mean, that's because we saw something in you. And we do. I mean, we become family. And you know, so, you know, when you're getting the calls every day, you're like, what should I do? You know, how do I do this? How do I, you know, navigate unemployment and all this kind of thing? You want to be there for them, and you do what you can do, and you want to take care of everybody. And at the end of the day, I mean, you can't take care of everybody. You know, I mean, it's like.
And we used to be known as a stepping stone, this type of a job serving industry to something, you know, maybe they go to college and they go on to something else. And now people are taking this up as a profession. So, you know, that's harder too, is that they have families that they're trying to feed. So, yeah. And
it makes it especially difficult that we are this close to Christmas. And we know the family situation of every single one of our employees. So we know what's ahead for them, you know, in the next few weeks. And that's difficult.
And the anxiety from the unknown, you know, while we wait on Congress.
Yes.
Do you watch some of the different, when the governor comes out and talks about what's going on, do you watch some of that?
Oh gosh, we used to meet every day at 2:00.
When they, yeah.
Yep, we would meet. And
I would not watch them. I would generally just kind of catch up on as much news as I can. But it seems to me that there's not really a lot of, it's the narrative is one flow direction, you know, that flows in one direction only. There's not a lot of questions. Do you see that at all on the local level? Are you able to ask questions and get answers? I know we talked a little bit about that at the beginning.
As far as
like how long is this going to take place, right? Like, why is Rochester not able to go to the governors and say, we've had 5 cases? Are you asking those questions? You know what I mean? Like,
I do. Like, have we asked them in the past? No. The
Okay.
answer is no. Locally, do we have people we could ask? Absolutely. We haven't reached out as far as that is concerned. I know back in May, the restaurants kind of got together when Governor Walz, when he first issued us to go June 1st to outside only. We were kind of hoping he was going to allow indoor dining. Is that what it was?
So we were hoping that he was going to open it up earlier, I believe. And then we had kind of gotten together with a lot of other restaurants.
Right. And the mayor at that time did, she did go on a limb for us, and she did, kind of vocally try to get the governor to allow that to happen. And then he ended up doing that. So yeah. But, we absolutely could ask. I think he's expected to talk this week sometime, right? Because I think as of now, the state or our mandate is through the 16th or 18th.
The 18th, I believe. I guess part of that too is I don't know who we feel like we can go to for and receive an empathetic ear. I'm not sure our mayor is that person. Just from what we have kind of seen in the past, I'm not sure where we would go for that right now.
And I don't think I don't personally have a city council person that is my go-to. So, yeah.
We're kind of in the midst of a big, turnover with our city council. So, I don't know. I don't know where our city council sits on small business. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know how much foresight they have either. So.
Sure. I just asked that because I don't like the flow of information the way it's been. Personally, they're not open to questions. They're not open to sitting down and having that
okay,
open
I just
dialogue.
have to go and text my husband to pick up my daughter from school.
Oh,
I just don't.
Oh, yeah.
Stay with it.
Okay, yeah. Sorry.
No,
go for it. Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. I hope you're not going off of that clock, because the clock behind me is an hour. Yeah, good. Can't do that on Channel 6 News, can you, Natalie? That's great. I love it. You probably could, but
this is real.
It is. That's the point of it, and I think that's what so many of the leaders miss, right? is that realness. Is in the interview question thing is that, you know, I being interviewed as many times as I have over the years now, I can tell when they're loaded questions, right? They already know what the questions are, and they already know that which ones they're allowed to ask or not ask. And I think that's pretty sad, in my opinion. And I don't know why the governor won't sit down and do some podcasts. And that doesn't need to be with me. That's not my point. But actually have that conversation might help us a little bit to understand what's going on if you can answer some of those questions, right?
You know, I don't know. I think at the local level anyway, I think a lot of them don't know what to say. I think a lot of them don't know where we're at. I mean, or yeah, I don't know if they don't as much. I think they're too worried about what the right thing to say is, and, you know, that kind of thing. And, you know, I don't know. I think there's just a big disconnect. There's a big disconnect between what's happening really. I mean, what's really happening to these businesses, and not just restaurants, but all of the small businesses. I mean, there is a disconnect about what is really happening with these people. And, you know, I had a conversation with a city council person, and, you know, I was really angry. And I said, you know, the city has done nothing for us. I mean, what has the city done for us? He goes, well, what would you like us to do? And I said, well, I mean, we've gotten no financial help from the city. We haven't. And he's like, well, I don't know what that looks like. Like, what are you asking for? And I said, well, you know, let's break it down. I mean, where could we get money from the city? Because his point was the city doesn't have money to give. I said, okay, well, let's break it down. I mean, let's look at all of this stuff, like salaries from city council members. I mean, what if we, you know, forgave that for a year? I mean, and took that, well, that's not a lot of money. Okay. So it's not a lot of money. So let's put it in a bucket over here. Let's just put it over here on the right side of your desk. Okay. What about RDA?
Yeah.
So the special service district taxes that all of the small businesses in downtown Rochester are paying. So what if we got rid of that? Well, that's not a lot of money. How much is that? Well, as a city council person, why don't you tell me?
Yeah.
But that's really, I've heard it's not a lot of money. Okay. So let's just put that in a bucket and put it over here.
Yeah.
You know, so we have all this liquor license money. Put that in a little bucket, because that's not a lot of money either.
Yeah.
So let's put that over here. So now let's dump all those buckets together, and now you got some help for us. I mean, at this point, you know, businesses are looking for anything. And the idea that we really haven't seen much leadership from our city, like our mayor, we have had no contact with her whatsoever. She hasn't reached out to us.
Did you have contact before? When was she elected? Remind me. Do you remember?
Oh, gosh, it's 2 years ago.
2 years, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I believe.
2 or 3 now.
Because she's got
Yeah.
2 more years. So is it a 4-year term?
Sure.
So, yeah, 2 years ago, maybe.
Did you have some contact before that?
No, but we didn't need it, really. I mean, you know, we had more, I think in the past we've had more contact with our ward leader, you know, our,
Sure.
like Mark Bilderbeck is our downtown ward guy, but, you know, even, you know, he's kind of out of it, and he has made it known that, you know, he's been on his way out for the last year, and he's done, and, you know, you talk to him and he'll tell you that, you know, I'm done. So really we've kind of haven't been super represented downtown, you know, but I would say the mayor specifically, no.
Sure. What about the previous mayor?
So that was Ardell Brady. Okay, so we've been, the tap house has been there for 8 years.
Yeah.
So before that, it's funny because, you know, if we ever had a question or an issue or a problem, we went to Ed Rushka.
Okay.
He was my ward guy where I live. And then we kind of looked to him for advice or, you know, channels of where to go to get things done, that kind of thing. So
I just see my point being, and I'm not sure if it's accurate, I saw Mayor Brady out and about and doing things a lot more than I do this mayor.
Absolutely.
And that includes myself. He gave me an award and things like that. But he came to a speaking event that I had in town. he didn't need to do that. I saw him as a very different type of engaged mayor than I see this mayor. And that's my main point is like, I just don't see a lot of engagement from this mayor.
I would agree. Which
is sad to me. So.
Well, and just maybe people knowing who she is.
Sure.
She came into the Tap House West End at one point after we opened in June, and nobody really knew who she was. I had said something to one of our employees, and she says, "Oh, I don't know who that is." And then another employee walked up, and they're like, "Do you know who that is?" And she's like, "No." That says something. That says volumes. It's like,
I can't go very many places and not be
recognized. Yeah.
And I'm nobody.
Yeah. But, there you have, 2 restaurant employees that don't know who their mayor is, and they live in town, both mothers.
Yeah.
So, that says a little bit of something. You saw Ardell Brady out a lot.
Yeah.
He was involved and out walking the streets and everything else. So,
very significant difference from my perspective. Not that my perspective is worth much, but I did see him more involved in things. Yeah.
Absolutely.
In all seeming levels. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you lived in Rochester a long time?
I have lived here my whole life.
Yeah. So Chuck Hazama.
Oh,
he was great too.
Yep.
He was a really good one. He was out everywhere.
Yeah. He actually he was a neighbor of my husband's.
Sure.
Yeah. So my in-laws, I guess. And he knew him quite well, but he was awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Absolutely.
Same kind of guy. I mean, just warm and kind of out there for everybody, and visible. Everybody knew who he was. So
it seemed like he understood what kept the wheels turning. Who were the cogs in the spokes, I guess. The gears, I should say, and that makes a huge difference. You want to work then, right?
Exactly.
And we're running into such a problem, and with these orders and things and flowing in one direction in some of these states. I've seen it traveling around. There are people who are standing up, and there are mayors of cities who are standing up to their governors and saying, we can't function like this.
We heard a lot of that too, though. We've heard a lot from, a couple of the city council members, from other people in the community. Well, the mayor can't do much.
That's not
true.
No.
I mean, that's not true. We've seen mayors, in other cities that have said, hey, we're not following this mandate. We're not going to do this, that kind of thing. But so there is, I think, a lot that that she could do.
Yeah.
So.
And hopefully she will do, right?
Hopefully.
Maybe this will get passed around.
Hopefully.
I'd love to sit down and chat with her. I'm.
Good luck.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask her the right questions.
Yeah.
But I would love to sit down and talk with her.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. And I think that's. As no disrespect to her position, I think that says a lot. If people won't sit down and have a conversation. I've never walked into one interview in discussing the death of my daughter and how horribly difficult that is, where I said, you need to ask me these questions and these questions only. Not one time. Not one time. So I think that if I can do that, I think our elected officials should be able to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Make it real.
Otherwise, is there a hidden agenda? I would like to ask that question too. If you can't sit down and have a conversation with just a normal person.
Absolutely.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Are you a magician? Let me see behind the curtain, Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Rescued? You lost a shoe, I saw. Yeah, running, ducking out of here.
I had a realization when I was glancing at your watch. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I wonder if I ever firmed that up.
She's that mom.
She's that parent. Parents of the Year award is coming? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
No.
It's one of those things where I think I asked him, told
Being
him.
a parent is great.
Yeah.
We were just talking about how I think that the flow of information should go both ways, that questions we should be able to ask our mayors and our governors, like real life, salt of the earth, boots on the ground type questions, and frustrating how our current, it's not mine, your current mayor of Rochester is not the mayor like Ardell Brady, and we even went back as far as Chuck Azama, but very out there in the public, very willing to speak with people, very down to earth. What's been your experience with the current mayor?
I don't have, I guess, a lot of experience with her, but I just know, aside from her, we have a lot of layers in Rochester. So we have, Rochester Ready, which is new now. It's, kind of a COVID preparedness group. We have Ready, RAIDI, which is kind of an economic development group. We have the Chamber of Commerce. We have the RDA, which is the Rochester Downtown Alliance. We have, a DMC board. We have, we just have a lot of different layers, which is, I think part of the problem is that there's really not a direct resource for us. I think the Rochester Downtown Alliance for downtown businesses would be a direct resource, but they are more of a try to bring events downtown. So right now that is practically impossible. So, again, they're kind of struggling to figure out.
Answer it if you want to. It's a podcast. They won't hear it. It's not. It's just real life
1 second.
people. Yeah,
Jeez.
go for it. Yeah, you can stay here. It's bit Miss Popular, huh?
I know.
Yeah, taking phone calls on a podcast. That's what's great about podcasts. I'll get some laughy faces on this one.
Yeah. Juggling like where the kids are supposed to be and who's taking care of the kids.
It's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Awesome. Yeah. She's right, though. Absolutely. A couple weeks ago, actually before the election, it was 2 weeks before the election, we sat down with Brooke Carlson and a bunch of the other businesses and
incoming council.
Okay. We sat down with quite a few of the incoming council members. Mark Bransford, Michael Wojcik, Brooke Carlson, just to kind of see, not that we supported any of them, but if in fact they were elected or reelected, where they stood with downtown businesses, because right now that's our fight, is downtown business. That's where we're at. And so, we sat down with them and, one of them, said to us in the meeting that she said, I just gave that away, but who's your support? Who is your support downtown? And the entire room just kind of broke out in laughter.
Yeah.
And it kind of made me mad. I said to her, I said, are you serious? I said, you are 2 weeks out of an election and you are, running for president of the city council and you don't know who our support is?
Yeah.
Completely unaware that there was this entire disconnect between the city and downtown businesses. Completely unaware. And, it was shocking.
But I think in her defense, I think the issues are she gets her information from the sources who want you to believe that everything is okay.
Correct.
Which is the DMC board, the city of Rochester. Personally, I feel like the elephant in the room, once COVID gets behind us, which it will, COVID will get behind us, is going to be the DMC. And if what was intended to be the DMC back 8 or 9 years ago, when DMC was kind of born, if what has come to fruition is going to be what they had expected, because truthfully, there's no income. It's not an income project. There is no it's a beautification project.
Yeah.
So
right.
It's not like a money-making project.
The idea is, though, to create a space for more businesses to come in, which would then create more taxes and more people to visit.
Right.
Just to be clear.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but, we have, there's a little bit of a push-pull. So I think the downtown businesses, the ones that have been there a long time, they kind of see, we bring in consultant after consultant after consultant. We spend big money in these consultants, and these consultants live and they try to replicate these bigger cities that have 3+ million people. And we have 125,000 people in the middle of. I mean, we don't have any. There's no density around us,
basically.
Right. So, I mean, I think that is going to. I think that's going to be a struggle. Is that we're going to get these. Before when I talked about the data, they always follow the data. I think to get some of these people downtown, but the behavior patterns are very different in this town from what you would expect a town of our size and our wealth and the visitor population to be. So I think that is a challenge. Accessibility is a huge proponent of people not coming downtown. It's not popular. People want the gridlock downtown. They want, to kind of park your car here and be able to walk around downtown. And local people just don't want to do that. And it's not popular. It's, the minute you bring up parking, you're frowned upon. But anyone who has been downtown knows how important that is. And I think of the gaping hole that Victoria's has had 3 years in a row in front of our business. And it is so frustrating that it's just so frustrating. It's frustrating that they have done this project when you were already weak. You just open up your doors and you got a gaping hole in front of your business. And maybe down the road, it'll be a blessing in disguise. I mean, I guess I don't know, but I think it was extremely poor. I think it was extremely poorly thought out on the city's part to the businesses downtown, because you have pretty much told people don't come down here. The massive construction downtown was, it was. And
it could have been stopped.
It was a lot to endure.
It could have been stopped.
Right.
It could have been put on hold. It could have. And, I think Natalie won't tell you this, but she wrote a very nice email to somebody in charge who could make those decisions. And they absolutely could not understand what the problem was. What is the issue? I mean, their thought process was, well, we are going to give jobs to construction workers.
Now, these are temporary jobs, Matt. Okay, these are temporary jobs to these construction workers, and most of them aren't local people. Well, we are a tax-based business, so we are paying taxes. We are employing people long-term. Right. So, I thought it was poor planning. And like I said, who knows, maybe 2 years down the road, we'll be thankful that it occurred. I don't know. I know that there is going to be, I think there's going to be some interesting conversations come this summer and fall with DMC and what has it produced for us.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't think DMC, in the very beginning, they kind of created some of their own issues because nobody really understood what DMC was in the very beginning.
I'm one of them.
People didn't get it.
Still don't, right?
I still am struggling.
And I still remember a couple that came in and they were from Naples, Florida, and it was an older couple, and they sat down at our bar at the Tap House downtown, and they said, hey, we're seeing all this stuff all over the skyways and everything else about DMC. Tell me what it is. And I said, it's trying to encourage, they're trying to bring in businesses. They want people to come, and they want this to be a destination. So they want people to come for the clinic, and they want them to be able to stay here and, enjoy the community while they're here and all that kind of thing. And I explained it in more detail, and he says, wait a minute. So somebody higher up thinks that I, as a patient, want to leave my home in Florida and come here for my doctor, but then stay for the weekend to take in all the sights.
Because we're Disney World.
And I said, well, kinda, yeah. And he goes, I don't want to do that.
That's a good point.
I don't want to do that. He says, I want to come for my appointment and get the hell out and go home and be with my family. I don't want that. I don't care where you are and what you got going on. I don't want that.
I also think part of, I also think Mayo Clinic is obviously, it's a great hospital. It's, number one in the world. But I think part of the fact that we are in a small town is a little bit goes to their favor. I mean, we have a charming town. We are Minnesota nice. When you get, it's kind of like when you travel, when you get to your hotel, what's the first thing you ask them? Where do you go for dinner? I mean, you don't want to go to a place that you have back home. You want to go to where's your local.
Yes.
I never go to Applebee's or, any of the.
Why? Where is your local?
Sorry,
where do you
Applebee's,
go?
But
Right. So we have that
in
here.
California, I'm going to go to somewhere that's unique to that area.
And that's what these people want to do. And Mayo Clinic, has these patients for 4 to 6 hours a day, and we take care of them the rest of the time.
Yeah.
And I think that we are solidified in that, all the downtown business owners, and that's our job. And we take it to heart. We truly, truly take it to heart. So I think the fact that, I think that's what makes us unique, I guess.
You get that person that comes in from Florida and they sit down at the tap house and they strike up a conversation with our employees, and then they come back next year and they come back in our door and they like it. And like she said, we are Minnesota nice. I mean, we are, that's who we are. And people say that all the time, and it's like, why not capitalize on that?
Right.
Why not make that your campaign? Because all these little mom and pop shops, like, they go to Pannekuchen for breakfast. They go to
Carol's Corn.
Yeah.
They have all their places that they remember and they go back to. And they want to see the server or the store clerk.
And they ask, where is that person who was here a year ago? Whatever happened to them?
Yeah.
They want that
personal
experience.
connection. You got it.
That's what they want. And so, gosh, I just think Mayo Clinic is missing out on a whole lot there by not capitalizing on that and focusing on the businesses. And maybe ask us.
Yeah.
Maybe ask us. All we want, we would love a say in that. We would love a say in that. Like, ask us our opinion. We're here, like John Kriesel has an antique shop on 3rd Street. He's been downtown Rochester for, oh my God, I don't know how many years. Forever. He's a staple.
Since Moby Dick was a minnow.
Yeah. But
That's a good one.
Do people ask him?
Yeah.
It's like we're down there living, the day to day. We are running our businesses. We have 100% of our lives invested in that business, and nobody asks us. They tell us, but nobody asks us. And that kind of back like to the RDA point, that's my frustration with the RDA. That's the Rochester Downtown Alliance, and that is we feed into being downtown and where we're located. We were in the special service district. So we pay a tax on our property taxes that goes towards the RDA to fund the RDA. And right now I believe there are 5 people that sit on that board. And we have been downtown at the Tap House for approximately 8, going on 9 years. And we have gone through 2 complete sets, I think, of 3, but basically, if you've been there a year, you've already got 1 foot out the door. So, and every time we get a turnover of staff in the RDA, we get new incoming people, typically not from here, trying to tell us what's going to be best for our business and trying to come up with all these new ideas and telling us what's going to be best. That's frustrating.
They probably have good intentions. I'm just going to play.
Of course, absolutely.
Of course,
absolutely.
Saying that they probably have good intentions. They come in here and that they're going to just save your business, right? And they're going to you're going to double and triple and quadruple what you do, and you're going to have people lined out the door, for weeks to come, and they're going to make tents outside, and they're going to stay, right? And they have good intentions for that, but I think what people miss so often, and I was telling the two of you before we started recording, I'm a very different speaker in the realm that I speak in, right? I'm extremely different. And I think the big reason why, one of the big reasons why is that I'll get a message, a PM, personal message from a student and say, hey, thanks so much, blah, blah, blah. And I'll reply back saying, that was great. What didn't you like? And some of them tell me. And guess what I just learned? I'm not going to do it that way again.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Because who am I trying to affect?
Right. If you're exactly right.
You get somebody coming in here. I can have all the great intentions in the world. Like I speak with a lot of or law enforcement are involved in a lot of presentations that I do. They're very different than I am. But their intentions are not. Their intentions are gold.
Absolutely.
But they're very different than I am. I'm trying to have a pulse on what is working with the student who I'm trying to reach. And these people that come in, they need to have a pulse on who they're trying to serve. They're trying to serve you. That's their goal, right? But then ask the questions. Our mayors are trying to serve us, right? Ask the questions. It's frustrating to me. I'm sorry. Hope that made sense.
It is.
It is. It's just,
frustrating
it's right. It's just the push-pull of the
Yeah.
nature of what's going on now. Absolutely. So, yeah. Always something. Keep us on our toes.
Tell us how we can find you.
TapHouseMN.com.
VictoriasMN.com.
All right. We're going to post that on all the different areas, Apple Podcasts and Podbean and all of them, your websites as well, so people can reach out to you. Hopefully people will respond to this. I've found that it's very difficult for people right now to go on public record and say what they think, but I know there's a lot of people cheering for people like you, and I'm one of them. And so I hope that that'll make a big difference and get to some of the right ears and open them, and they can come and get a pulse on what you're up to.
We appreciate this opportunity.
We do.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for having
Yes,
us.
thank
Absolutely.
you.
So I want to leave with my my tacky shiny. I want to thank you ladies for being strong. I want to thank you ladies for being hope. I want to thank you for being influential. I want to thank you for being necessary. I want to thank you for being you. There's no one like you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
See you
so
next
much.
time.
Thank you.